Hello my disciples, Father Andrew here. Before we get into this, firstly yes, this is a departure from my regular content, and secondly, unlike all those YouTube drama channels that say shit like, "Oh, I didn't want to make this video, I don't like drama, woe is me, I shitted my diaper," I'm making this video because I actually want to talk about this rat bastard. And before I do that, I have to disclose that my source will be linked in the description, and thirdly, the reason I'm doing this is because, well, I had to take down my I Stand with MamaMax video after all the drama came out because I refused to support such a dogshit person. Anyway, now to get into what this scumfuck has actually done. First is the most obvious and where the drama started. His God Cult ARG thing where he essentially tagged everyone who he knew had kids, primarily big YouTubers, and tried to guilt trip them with the "help me or you're part of the problem" mentality. Even calling on YouTubers who just have big audiences and I'm pretty sure don't have any kids. Even going as far as to spam DM people on Discord, harassing them until they reply. Charlie Penguin Zero not replying to this because he had the coof at the time. Next up we have him admitting that basically the majority of every story he talks about except the pedo and the victim are made up. He's completely fabricated every aspect to essentially insert himself as the hero of the story, and has no shame in admitting this at all. Thirdly, made up the existence of a cult just so he could grift people out of money by claiming that his life was in danger. You know that whole, "Oh, I've exposed this cult, it puts my life in danger, but you can help me by giving me money." Next we have the accusations against Camdan Jerrard Davis, who MamaMax has failed to present any solid evidence against, but yet seems to insist that this guy has somehow groomed hundreds of children despite there being literally no evidence. In fact, MamaMax gives us barely any fucking information on him at all, so as far as I'm considered, he's really just pulling all of it out of his arse. Next we have the girl who apparently killed herself because of being groomed on Imvu, when in reality she never fucking killed herself at all. This is also another fabrication pulled out of MamaMax's arse. Next, another likely lie by MamaMax is the claim that he's had hitmen contact him offering him discounts to kill pedophiles, which I can immediately smell the bullshit on this one. And if his claim is true, this would get police eyes on him, not the pedophiles he's trying to expose. Not only that, but the sentence for that in Texas, which is where he apparently lives according to Google, which I'm really boiling this down here, just hiring a hitman alone can get you a fine and or 10 years for any violation. If the hitman injures someone, you're getting a fine and or 20 years. And if the hitman actually kills someone, you're gonna get a fine of no greater than 250,000 and or a death sentence or life imprisonment sentence. So just from a legal perspective alone, MamaMax has put himself in extreme danger by admitting that if it's true. Because if one of those hitmen kills someone and it gets traced to him, just like that he's getting a life sentence. But anyway, moving on to the next one, we have the fact that all of his fuckery has inadvertently made it significantly harder for the law to actually do anything. Because of how staged his videos clearly are, it means any statement made by any apparent victim and or witness cannot be trusted. And next, we have the most fucking egregious thing so far. 13 hours ago by MamaMax himself, a video called "I Place Accountability in My Own Hands." I'm gonna save you the trouble of even watching this. He does not take any accountability for the dog shit he's done. He sits there throughout this whole thing. "I feel like I'm being pulled in every which way. No matter how hard I try, I cannot make everyone happy. I feel like I'm in an impossible situation." Legitimately, you what, mate? You having a fucking giggle, mate? In all seriousness, in the last 3 years, he's been basically accusing people of, "Oh, you either side with me or you're defending pedophiles." That is literally what he's been doing for the last 3 years, and he has the gall to speak like this. Oh, and also, I will remind you that in spite of all of this, he has a GoFundMe and Patreon and is living off the grift. And next we have the fact he's all like, "I don't want beef with people," but yet he's forced this situation onto people like Charlie and just kind of shits out misinformation everywhere he goes, even essentially doxing people and encouraging people to do that same thing. Throughout this whole video, he's taken zero accountability for any of the shit I've mentioned so far. He's never mentioned the doxing he's been involved with, nothing about the lying, about the false allegations he put against people, no mentions of how he's encouraged violence against people, no mentioning of the re-victimization, of all the cringe shit he's done, of his own victims, and all this while using actual CSA victims as a shield against criticism. Oh, and not only that, but remember that doxing I mentioned? Yeah, he publicly shared the full names and locations of that vampire culty guy's like mother and brother, despite the fact they're not related to this case at all. And that's not even all the shenanigans this guy has been up to. That's just like a third of it. And that's without me going into full detail on, like, the sources I'm going to link in the description, they go into way more detail on this situation. And having taken a moment to calm down, I'm going to give my personal statement on all of this. As someone who has a thermonuclear hatred of pedophiles, everything he's done absolutely boils my piss. And I would honestly not be surprised if the cops raided his house, checked his computer, and found terabytes of CP. And like seriously, back in the day, when he was like really big and everyone respected him, that's when I made the I Stand with MamaMax video. Because back then, we didn't know what we know now, and that was that his content was taken down for nudity, not because YouTube was trying to censor him. And we simply didn't know he was a complete rat bastard. There was literally no evidence for it at the time. But what really activates my almonds is the fact that people relied on him. And all he's done in the long term is make things substantially fucking worse for everyone. Oh, and his ego. It's all the way up into the sky, through the atmosphere and into goddamn space. He could not be on a higher horse if he tried. Because yes, while hating pedophiles is a good thing, it's not an excuse to grandstand yourself on a pillar as some icon of purity. It's called being a decent human being. And even worse, he's so up his own arse, huffing his own farts, that he doesn't even care about being called out and refuses to acknowledge it in any capacity. Except those times when he's half-assedly admitted what he's done on his own for no apparent reason. Not only that, but if he truly wants to bring down pedophiles, there's plenty of ways you can go and do that. You can work as a detective, you can work with the police, work as a child protection officer, or hell, join the Bikers Against Child Abuse. But no, instead he sits there on his arse, grifting in a shitty Batman voice, being an egotistical rat bastard. Which brings me on to one last point I want to make, and that being, oh my god, the cringe. The edgelord cringe is strong with this one. Like, when I was younger, I used to be an edgy piece of shit, but I was never this bad. Jesus Christ, this is like full on animal I have become 3 days grace, trench coat, razor blade, edgelord bullshit, and I hate every... I can't even take this seriously, it's so fucking cringeworthy. I can't stop laughing at it, it's so fucking dumb. But yeah, that's basically all the MamaMax drama summarized and my honest opinion on it. But before you go, I do have a Discord linked in the description if you like my other videos, and if you wanna subscribe or give a like to help in the algorithm, that's good. Also, commenting helps as well. Anyway, love you all my disciples, see you around, bye bye.